This is 7th grade, lesson 23 on module 6 on finding surface area. So when you think of surface area, I want you to think of wrapping paper. Like if we were to wrap these items with wrapping paper, how much wrapping paper would we need? So we have a square pyramid here, and it's square because the base of this is a square, and it's a pyramid because all sides come to a single point. Now this is an 8 by 8. So in order to find the surface area, we're going to break it into parts to make it a little easier. So let's find the area of the base first, just the base. And that's going to be area equals length times width, which is going to be 8 times 8, which gives me 64 centimeters squared. All right, now let's find the triangular sides. So let's find the sides. If you can see, I have 4 sides because there's a triangle. So, because there's a square. So therefore, I have 4 triangles. So first, let's find the triangle area. So that's area equals half base times height. So I'm going to say half of 8 times 5, which is half of 40. And that gives you 20 centimeters squared. But that's for one triangular side. I need 4 of those. So I'm going to multiply that by 4, and my final answer here is 80 centimeters squared. Now, how much total wrapping paper will I need? To find your total, you just add these up. So I'm going to do 64 plus 80, and I get 144 centimeters squared. And there's your final answer. Now, this is a shape that you're probably a little bit more common seeing when you're wrapping gifts, okay? Your basic box. Now, the one thing about these is if this is 3, so is this, and so is this. So those 3's carry all the way through. If this is 12, so is this. All right, if this is 6 down here, this is 6. So all the images and the numbers correspond. So you need to make sure that if you're looking over here, you're like, oh, there's no measurements. No, there are. They just wrote them only once. You have to kind of write them in. So let's take a look at wrapping this up with some wrapping paper. Now I see I have a 3 by 6 here, which means I also have a 3 by 6 as well on the back. So I have a 3 by 6, and since I have 2 of them, I'm going to multiply that by 2. And that gives me 2 times 18, which gives me 36. All right, now I have a 3 by 12. My 3 by 12 is going to be this piece right here. Again, 3 and 12. So I have 2 of those because I have a front and then I have one on the back. So 3 times 12 times 2. So we're going to do 2 times 36, which is going to give me 72. And then we have the top and the bottom. So I have 2 of those. And those are both 6 by 12s. So that is 2 times 72, which gives me 144. And just like we did up above, to find the total, we're going to add these all up. So I'm going to say 36 plus 72 plus 144 gives me a grand total of 252 inches squared. Now, sometimes your images are not going to be perfect squares. You're going to have pieces missing. So we're going to find the surface area of both of these. And the easiest way to kind of do this, I'm going to give myself a little bit more room there, is I'm going to divide my workspace into 2 sections. So this image here, its work's going to go down this way, and this one's going to go down that way. All right. And like I pointed out, if you're having a hard time seeing the lengths of all these, it does help to go in and write these down. So there's a 3 there, that's a 3, that's a 3, that's a 3, that's a 3, this is a 3. Like fill them all in if it helps a little bit. All right? Especially those pieces that are missing. If that helps, then fill them in so that way you can see all the pieces that you need to have. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this one here that's missing a hole. Now, I have a 3 by 6, just like the last one. I have a 3 by 6 here. I have a 3 by 6 in the back, so I have 2 of those. And that's going to give me 36. Then I have a 3 by 12 here. And I actually have a 3 by 12 here. It's just cut out. So a 6 and a 3 and a 3, and you just put it all together and you get another 3 by 12. So I have 2 of those. And that's going to give me 72. And then I have a 3 by 3, which is these end pieces, these little squares. I have 2 of those. and that's going to give me 18. And then my top is going to be 2 times 6 times 12. Okay, now that's a 6 times 12 on that. And then I'm also going to subtract this from my 2 times 6 times 3. Now, that's going to be the top here and the bottom, but then I'm also going to go ahead and subtract out this whole, okay? Because the 6 by 12 is the whole rectangle, but I need to take into account this part that's missing, which is a 6 by 3. It's this piece right here. So when I solve this, this one comes out to 144 minus 36, which is going to give me 108. All right. So my total for this side is going to be 36 plus 72 plus 18 plus 108, which is going to give me 234 inches squared. Now let's find the smaller one. This one's going to be a little easier. I have 2 3 by 9s. Oh, excuse me, 3 by 3s, which gives me 9, with a total of 18. And then I have 2 3 by 6s. That's going to give me 36. And I have another 2 3 by 6s, which gives me another 36. And so my total on this side is going to be 18 plus 36 plus 36, which gives me 90 inches squared. Now, they didn't ask me to put them back together, so we're going to keep those answers separate as our 2 final answers for this problem. C says, how is the surface area of part A related to the surface area of part B? So if you noticed, we basically had the first figure, that first perfectly nice rectangle box, and then B, they took part of it off. So we had the 234 from the original box. We add in that 90, the hole that was missing. If we add that in, we get 324 inches squared. Now, if we take the 324 total and we subtract out the area we got on part A of the 252, we wind up with 72 inches squared. So we can see that 72 inches squared is 2 times the area of the shaded area in part B. There you go. All right, let's go on to the exercises. So we have a triangular right prism, and we're going to go ahead and find the surface area of this. Now, if you remember, when we find surface area, it's area equals half the base times the height. So we're going to do the top and bottom first. The top and bottom, I have 2, obviously, a top and a bottom. So I'm going to say 2 times, actually, I should probably use a bracket here, and I'll teach you about brackets. Brackets are when you're going to have several sets of parentheses. So we go 2, bracket, half, and then a set of parentheses in that. And the way this works, oh, that's a 15, not a 5, times 8. The way brackets work is you always work yourself from the inside out. So we're going to take care of what's inside here first, then take care of that 2 on the outside. So this becomes 2 times half of 120. And then once I solve this, I can actually drop that bracket. So half of 120 gives me 60. So now I'm back to just normal parentheses, which gives me 120 feet squared there. Okay? That's just the top and bottom. Now let's talk about the front. My front is a 15 by 20. So the front is this piece that's facing us here. That's a 15 by 20, which gives me 300. The left side is a 17 by 20. So 17 by 20 is that back side there. And that's going to give me 340. They call it the left side, but the back side, kind of you turned it. And then the right side is this piece right here on the right-hand side, which is 8 by 20. And that's going to give you 160. So now when we go to find the total, we add all this up. So we're going to say 120 plus 300 plus 340 plus 160 is going to give you 920 feet squared. And there's your final answer. Number 2, we are actually going to go ahead and skip because trapezoid surface area is not our standard. It's actually an 8th grade standard. So we're just going to stop there and not do that one. And let's go on to number 3. So number 3, we have this figure here. Part of it's cut out. Now again, it does help to go in and write down 2. This is a 3 here. This is a 1. This is a 3. This is a 7. This is a 3. This whole thing is going to be 6 plus 2, which is going to give me 8. All right. So fill in everything that you don't have completely written down to kind of help you out. Now I'm going to find your main surface area, and then you're going to go through and find all the other parts here. So the first thing we're going to find, we're going to label this part 1. And I'm going to do 2 times 8 times 6 plus a 7 by 2. All right, so I did 2 8 by 6s, and then I did the 7 times 2. And this is going to give me 2 times 48 plus the 14. And then I can say 2 times 48 plus 14 would just make that a little easier. Take out one extra step. That'd be 2 times 62. And that's going to give me 124 feet squared. All right, now that's the main surface area. And then we have to go ahead and talk about all the cutouts. So I'll walk you through on this one. That's fine. This is the back. Let's talk about the back. The back is this piece right back here. It's an 8 by 3. So I have 8 by 3, which is going to give me 24. Let's do the third part. We'll do the front. The front is this part right here, right in front of us. So that's a 7 by 3, which is going to give me 21. Let's do this little cutout right here, this little cutout. So I'm going to call it cutout. The cutout actually has 2. It has a 2 by 3, and then it has a 1 by 3. So this is a 6, and this is a 3. So if we add these together, I get 9. And then let's look at the right side. The right side is a 6 by 3, and that gives me 18. So right here. And then let's look at the left side. The left side is an 8 by 3, and that gives me 24. So now when we're asked to find our total, that's going to be everything added up. So starting over here, 124 plus 24 plus 21 plus 9 plus 18 plus 24. Add all that up and I get 220 feet squared. All right, so you are going to be responsible for numbers 4 and 5. Make sure you show all your steps and all your work. If you need extra paper, feel free to attach a piece of lined paper if you need it. This ends this tutorial.